What is array destructuring? It's very simple. Breaking or mapping the contents of your array to variables. That's it. You have some array, you have some contents in your array. You just assign those contents to variables. That you call it as array destructuring. I'll show you a simple example. Say I have an array called subjects. I'll have some subjects here like Java, Python, JavaScript, whatever it is, OS, networks. Let's have some subjects here. We all know how to declare an array. We have seen through this. So now I want to assign Java and Python to two variables. I can very well assign it like this. I can say two variables a1 comma a2 is equal to, I'll just give the array name. This is called destructuring. So what happens here is it takes the first item, assigns it to a1, the second element in the array to a2. Now I will console log a1. Maybe I'll console log a2. So now let's save this, run this, Java and Python. So based on the number of variables you give here, if I give a3 and if I console log a3, what will happen? Java goes to a1, Python goes to a2, OS goes to a3. In the same order as it occurs in the array, the assignment happens. So let's run this. So you'll see Java, Python, OS. Very simple concept. This is called array destructuring, and there are certain variations to this. I am interested only in Java and OS, not in Python. I should assign these. I should assign Java and OS to two variables. Then what is that I can perform here is, let me delete all these things. I want to skip Python, right? I can just skip it like this. So now what happens is Java gets assigned to A1, OS gets assigned to A3. You can skip by just giving some comma and A1 comma A3. A3. When I log this out, you can see Java and OS. So Python we have skipped. So you can skip variables. So it will skip that specific variable, assign the remaining to the, it will skip those specific elements and assign the remaining to the variables. Okay. There's also one more thing called rest parameter here, that is a1, a2, comma, and then I give three dots, and then I can give some variable name here. I'll just give RST. They call this a rest parameter. We might have used that with functions also. If you've gone through functions, we can pass arguments using the rest parameter, somewhat similar to what we have done in functions here. So what it does is Java it assigns to A1, Python it assigns to A2. The remaining OS and networks gets assigned to this rest parameter here. So if I log A1, A2 and then rest. So it's A1, A2 and then rest. Rest is remaining elements get assigned to RST. Now let me run this. You see Java, Python to A1 and A2, all the remaining elements to this rest parameter. We are used rest with functions, the same kind of an usage here. You pass two arguments, first two variables in the function will take it up, dot 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 rest, remaining arguments will be moved to rest. So rest is one of the concepts with respect to array destructuring. This is also possible. You give element 1 comma element 2 comma 3 dots and then you can give any name here. I have given RST. You can give any name you want. The next thing is default values with respect to array destructuring. Default values. Say you can have something like this. I can give some default values. Again, this we have discussed with functions. X to be 10, Y to be 20. These are the two variables I'm taking. By default, X is 10, Y is 20. See, if I'm assigning an array which is not having anything in it, what will be the value of X and Y? X comma Y will be 10 and 20. These are default parameters. If nothing is assigned, then assign 10 and 20 to X and Y. So let's execute this 10 and 20. But if I assign 50 now, 50 will be assigned to x, it will be overridden. Now the value of x will be 10, y will be 20. If I assign 50, 90, both the default values will be overridden. The output will be 50 and 90. If I give something like y is equal to x here, what will happen? What will be the output? It will still be 50, 90 because it's a default parameter. Still 90 will be overridden. So you can very well see that here. Control S, Shift Alt N, 50 and 90. But how you can make use of y equals x is I just assign the value for x. Now x takes 50, y equals x in the sense y also takes 50. So the output here will be 50 and 50. So you can very well assign some values. If I assign 50, 90, we can perform this. So default values can be used with array destructuring. Understood? There's one more concept, that is destructuring nested arrays. Let me delete this array. We'll take a look at destructuring nested arrays. So what is destructuring nested arrays? It's again very simple, like nothing much. I just call this x comma y comma t is equal to, I'll give an array here, 1 comma 2 comma, this is the nested array, 3 comma 4. How it gets destructured? X takes 1, y takes 2, t is assigned 3 comma 4. So if I console log x, I just log it in different statements, y and then t. What will be the output here? 1 and 2 to x and y, t takes 3 and 4. This is possible. Now I want to destructure it like t is taking 3 and 4, but I want 3 to be separate, 4 to be separate. Then what is that we can do here is we can very well give t comma n, something like this. So you're mentioning take 3, assign it to t, take 4, assign it to n. Now when I console log t and n separately, you can very well see the output is 1, 2, 3, 4. You understood what I am doing? Earlier when I had 3 comma 4, it was entirely assigned to t. Now I want the first value to be assigned to a variable, the second value in the nested array to be assigned to a variable. So I gave t comma n like this. So now 1 is assigned to x, 2 is assigned to y, 3 is assigned to t, 4 is assigned to n. This is called nested array destructuring. And array destructuring can also be used with functions. Say a function can return an array, right? Function can return an array. So function can return an array. How a function can return an array? Can you try this? You write some function, test function, and this returns an array. Say return 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7. So it can return an array like this. You can very well destructure it like this. Say constant a1 comma or s1 comma s2, whatever it is equal to, you'll just call this function test function, and we'll console log s1 and s2. So what's happening is this array is getting returned. It's directly destructured here. S1 takes 3, S2 takes 4. So that's the value here. So now you see the output is 3 and 4. So destructuring arrays can also be used with functions that returns arrays like this. So before we wind up the session, there is a final concept called destructuring multiple arrays together. Say for instance, I have constant a comma b is equal to x comma y. This is possible, and I can pass the entire array 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and I'll console log a comma b comma x comma y. What will be the output here? The output is 2 comma 3 2 comma 3, that is 2 3 2 3. So what's happening here is we are destructuring this array into two different sets of variables, that is a, b, x, y. So a gets 2, b gets 3, x gets 2, y gets 3. This is also possible. So with that we are coming to an end of array destructuring.